Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Kimbae. This is the BeautyLifeExpert.com, or it's my YouTube channel, wherever it is that you're watching me. For today's video, I am not gonna clickbait you. This video is all about, does size really matter? Now, some things I want to go over before I get heavy into this topic is that I cannot give you a definite answer because I can only give you my own opinion. I can only give you what I think and what I believe. I can also give you what I've asked and what I've been told by other people. So I'm gonna mesh that all up into one video. Obviously, this is not something that I can say, yes, it matters, because it's like, there's a lot of things that go into it. So I just want to give that disclaimer out there that by the end of this video, I am not going to be telling everyone yes or no. I am simply going to be giving my opinion. I'm going to give you guys some tips, some tricks, and I'm going to pretty much just give you guys some advice and just have a conversation. Most of my videos is the format. I also just want to let you guys know I am in a different setting. I am actually in my living room, because my room is jam-packed and my office space is jam-packed with Virgo Beauty. If you guys don't know, I recently launched a body care, skincare line, and Kimbae lashes is also taking up all that space. So I literally have nowhere to film. So now I am in my living room, and if you hear echo, it's because there's a lot more open space and I'm literally yelling at my camera, because usually I'm like really nice up and close. And also the lighting in here sucks. It's terrible. So let's just please bear with me. But yeah, let's get into it. First things first, I want to let you guys know that I am a huge believer in open communication. I feel like it's extremely important to always talk and be open with your partners or whoever it is that you're romantically involved with. So when it comes to communication, I feel like speaking of your preferences is always something that needs to be done early on in the relationship. It is not something that you need to later find out and be surprised about, just because for me, all of my deal breakers, I lay flat out on the table. I let everybody know from the get-go what can ruin my relationship and what I am willing to accept. This will then give my partner the opportunity to whether continue to be in this relationship with me or to just end things here before we waste anybody else's time. Because definitely I am a firm believer that time is precious. I do not want to waste my partner's time. I don't want to waste my time. I can be looking for someone who has the same belief as me, or I can just, simply just be doing me by myself, living stress-free and maybe with this person I can have a beautiful friendship with, and we didn't have to ruin it by later on arguments and things like that. So definitely for me, one of the things that I feel is very important is if that size is a huge thing for you, if sex is extremely important in your relationship and you cannot be with someone who does not meet that standard, you need to tell them ahead of time. I've asked a lot of my friends who have been in these situations, and I feel like maybe those conversations weren't handled too well, so that's why I also want to talk to you guys about that. Does size matter is a question that has been asked and debated time and time again. Everyone has a different opinion when it comes to does size matter, because there are people who are extremely on the side that yes, it does matter, and there's also people who are completely on the side of no, it does not matter. I am somewhere in between. So definitely for me, I care more about the person over what they look like or what they have or what equipment they come into the relationship with. That being said, I'm going to be completely honest and completely transparent. I made a video about someone who was lacking in that department, and I got a lot of private messages of people telling me that wasn't nice, it wasn't okay. And honestly, I thought it was just me telling you guys a funny story. It was just me being myself, basically. It was just me having a conversation with my audience. And I made it seem like sex was the most important thing in relationships, when honestly, for me, it's not the biggest important thing. But being someone who is sexually open, sexually fluid, sex is somewhat important in a relationship. It's not the definitive most important thing, but it is it does have a high ranking in what I believe to be important. Sex to me is more than just an act. It is connection, emotional connection, spiritual connection, and that's just the way I look at it. But other people don't look at it that way, and basing on what they told me, a lot of people don't look at it that way. So that's something to consider as well, is that not everyone thinks the way that you think. So let's just be completely transparent. At the end of the day, we all have our own insecurities. If you don't, congratulations, you're rare. But definitely we all have insecurities, whether for me it be my weight, whether it be, you know, how hairy I get one day to the next, or just like my teeth. You guys know that's one of my biggest insecurities. But definitely I have things that I don't like about me, just as like some people have that area that they deal with that they feel is an insecurity. But let's talk about insecurities real quick. Insecurities come from people jamming into our brains what an ideal body type is, what an ideal sex experience is. Let me pick that apart real quick. When we were growing up, and I know a lot of people that have had the same image, sex was always something where we go towards like porn. We look at the porn industry and what's going on there. If you go through Pornhub or YouPorn, whatever the hell it is that you like to watch, and you start scrolling, all you're gonna see is these huge, and I mean huge penises, like literally abnormally huge penises. And that is what we grow up thinking is the norm. So when you have little Jimmy or little Bobby growing up and they're only 3-4 inches, or maybe more, whatever, but you know, at a young age, I don't expect, you know, but whatever, to each their own. But when you have little Jimmy, little Bobby growing up and they see like these huge things and then they compare, it's a huge difference, and that can lead to huge insecurities. Just like us females, when we look at these wonderful, beautiful vaginas that are all, I mean, all vaginas are beautiful, let's be honest, but when we look at these vaginas on, you know, these porn sites or these magazines or whatever it is that you get, you know, you see your stuff from, we saw everybody is pretty much an itty, everything is beautiful, bald, tight, pink, whatever it is that flows your boat. That is what every ideal vagina looks like. So when you think about how you feel when you see that, think about your partner, or think about your, you know, your sexual partner who has a penis, what they think when they see themselves. And honestly, it's something that not a lot of people really think about, because it's so common for us to say what we think when it comes to, you know, the person's penis size. And when we think about what the ideal penis size is, I always hear 8 inches or more. 8 inches or more. After reading and doing a lot of research, 8 inches is something abnormally large. The average size penis is anywhere between 4 to 6 inches. So, what we are trained in our brain to believe is the ideal size is about 3 inches off. 3 inches is almost someone else's penis. That is a huge difference of what we were brainwashed to think is the ideal type and what is the actual average size. So what happens is that when you have people who are probably not that experienced, especially, I'm going to put this in context of myself because I'm going to talk about me and what I know. When I was younger and I was first starting to experience and, you know, be a little bit more sexual, I realized very quickly that very, very, very little people have the ideal size. That is to say that I've enjoyed people who weren't the ideal size, and honestly to say, I've had people who were the ideal size, and let me tell you, I am not someone who craves that. Let me just be completely blunt with you guys. I hope that my future employers don't watch this video. If you are, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm still really professional, but let's be honest, you guys. Something that large is not pleasurable to me. It can be pleasurable to other people, you know, pain is pleasure, whatever, to each their own. Live your best sexual fantasy. I don't care. Do you, boo-boo? I'm talking about me personally. I am your average girl. I go to work. I go to school. I do my thing. I do not like that ideal size. I don't believe that that's the ideal size. I know a lot of people who don't believe that's the ideal size. On the contrary, I know a lot of women, a lot of women who believe anything under 7 inches is too small. And I'm going to be completely blunt with you guys. Some of the things that they say is very hurtful. It can hurt someone's pride. So definitely, I honestly think that a conversation before anything is super important. Now, of course, you don't want to go into a brand new relationship immediately talking about sex, because sometimes people deceive that as rude or whatever. That all to them. I'm someone who believes in having open conversation, open communication. So definitely tackling things head on as soon as possible is ideal for me. I would probably recommend going to your partner and just, discussing. Start off small. What is some of your pet peeves? What are some things what are some foods you don't like? Things like that. And then maybe you can graduate to, so is a big penis a deal breaker for you? And then you just go from there, like, obviously I'm joking, but I'm also telling you guys facts. You guys do want to talk about what the person is willing to do. Now, I'm going to jump into talking about a little bit of advice. I just want to give you guys something to think about. I have friends who have told me that they have been with someone and they're in the throes of passion, whatever you want to call it, and have stopped because the person is not their ideal size, and have literally told the person in the most rudest fashion I could probably think of, probably along the lines of, nah man, that ain't happening, and just walk the fuck off. Now, you have every right to deny or reject sex at any point. You can say no to having sex at any time, even if that person is already in you. You can always say no, no matter what. But I do believe that something that is beyond someone else's control is something that we need to learn to be a little bit more cautious about, a little bit nicer about. And what I mean is, men who have penises cannot control the size of their penis. They are born that way. It's either genetics, it's either their weight, it's a lot of things. So I can't imagine how it would feel for someone to stop mid of whatever it is that we're doing. We probably already went on like 5 dates, 4 dates, 1 date if you're, that kind of person. Oh, I was going to say something rude. 1 date, whatever it is. And I really am feeling this person. And because I have something that I have no control over, that person automatically no longer wants to be with me, wants nothing to do with me, insults me about something I can't control. And I honestly put myself in that situation because there's things about me that I don't like. I'm going to compare penis size to weight. I've had an issue with my weight my entire freaking life. At this point, it's tiresome how much I have to talk about it, but it comes up. So I can't imagine me being on 3 to 4 dates with somebody. I'm ready to have sex with this person, and as soon as I take off all my clothes, they're like, oh, no, can't do it, and just walk the fuck off. I would honestly lose my shit. I would probably be a little depressed. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's not because the person didn't want to have sex with me. It's just the way that things are handled. If, obviously you can tell I'm big before I'm even naked. So, let's get that out the way. But when you're in this situation, this person, when we're naked, period, or exposing our body parts, we are being extremely vulnerable. And I think people forget that because sex has become something so easy to obtain. But we are being open with this person. We are trusting this person with our bodies. We're trusting this person with parts of ourselves that we do not easily show anybody. I mean, whatever. Again, you understand what I'm saying. I don't have to apologize for everything, please, Lord. So I can't imagine or fathom how someone would feel if something that they can't control is being judged on this level. So I just want to give my females, or you know, if you're a guy watching this video who has sex with men with penises, have a little bit more consideration about how you handle the conversation. Try to speak early on about this. Let's try to be a little nicer to each other, a little bit more considerate to each other, because people can't, you know, men can't control the size of their penis. Just like, you know, there's things about us that we would like to change. I'm sure they would like to change it, but they can't. That's what they got to deal with. So yeah, that part of the video, I just want to get out there to just be a little bit more considerate. Now let's go back to talking about the overall big question. Does size matter? Honestly, a lot of people are going to tell you yes. A lot of people are going to tell you guys yes. The only people who won't tell you yes are people who either don't need sex in a relationship or have, you know, there are people who are fetishes for smaller penises. There's a lot of people who don't really judge, you know, people who aren't really experienced, or there's a lot of things. There are going to be people who think that it doesn't matter. But from my conversations, from polls that I've taken, I've asked all different kind of people. I haven't just asked, you know, like my crazy hoe ass friends. I don't believe there's really hoes, but I don't just ask those people. I ask people who are in who've always been long-term relationships. I've asked virgins even. I asked a virgin the other day, I'm like, hey, listen, do you think size matters? And she should have said, duh. And she's someone who hasn't had that experience yet, so you can tell how brainwashed we all are to think that, you know, the hugest penises give you the most pleasure, when honestly it's not like that. That's not the case. For a lot of people, there is a certain level in people, you know, our vaginas can handle so much. Think about it. We give birth, we have a child. Sometimes those children are 8 to 9 to 10 pounds. And we can push those out of our vaginas. So a lot of penis can fit up there. And I don't mean to be so funny and, you know, joke about it, but honestly, it's gonna be almost nearly impossible to fit, to you know, be able to satisfy all of the space in a vagina. It's almost impossible. So honestly, I think when you get just enough, it's fine. And then just think about it. A lot of females do not only, you know, come, or, you know, whatever the proper term is, ejaculate off of penetration. A lot of the ejaculation coming, whatever, comes from the clitoris. And the clitoris, if you guys don't know, is not inside the vagina, it's right in the outside. So, and then if someone is to, you know, come or whatever from penetration, it has a lot to do with where the clitoris is positioned. As far as like when the penis is going inside, is because you're getting a lot of that feeling. This conversation turned very R-rated, but that is what I'm here for. I'm here to educate. So definitely, that idea of like this huge penis needing to go inside you in order to have you come is not always the case. Think about when you're, you know, when you're pleasuring yourself, or when you're getting pleasure from, you know, someone's mouth, or, you know, whatever. So just think about that for a second. Think about other ways that you can get pleasure. Obviously, I'm not here to convince everybody that you know, size doesn't matter. You are free to think your own opinion. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more of a clarity. Yes, I'm a little biased because to me, size doesn't always matter. It does matter sometimes, especially in the case of my dear friend, Brandon. I'm sorry, buddy. Size mattered to me then because that was just it wasn't only about the size of his penis, it was also the entire sex. I feel like maybe if something else would have happened, I would have been okay. But because it was just penetration that was happening that day, and it wasn't good penetration, I didn't really feel anything, to be honest. size mattered. You know, had I had a little bit more, I could have probably felt it the way I was explaining to you guys before. And honestly, that's just a rare case. That's just, you know, now I'm just rambling. The overall point of this video was to give you guys a little bit of insight as to my own opinion. It was to give you guys a little bit of tips and tricks. It was also to pretty much have an open conversation, give you guys a different look on things, especially when it comes to how to approach these things. And then just, you know, give you guys a little bit more of advice as to where to go, where to start with this process, and then obviously where to end it if things don't work out. So definitely let's have an open conversation. If you guys are, you know, if you guys have a different opinion than mine, I'm open to discuss. Please leave your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I will be, this is kind of topics that I upload about all the time. I am someone who is passionate about sex education and just overall sex topics. Does that make me a freca? I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel, like it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!